All right, so have a seat up on a lift. Cross your legs in the center of your shins, your feet beneath your knees. Find that steady, firm base. You can rest your hands lightly on your thighs with your upper arms in line with your side ribs. Ensure that your shoulders are over your hips, that you're not leaning forward, not leaning back, and that your chin is parallel to the floor, that you're not tucking it and you're not lifting it either. If you're going to err on one side or the other, slightly down, I would say is a little bit better. But see if you can keep it roughly parallel to the floor. Beginning to notice what is present for you in this moment. What is present for you in this moment? And just in noticing, without judging, without seeking to change. And then from this place of acceptance, of non-judgment, from here we can begin the changes, begin the slight adjustments to the body, which of course affects everything else, affects the breath, the mind, which of course affects how we show up in the world and how the world shows up for us. So balance evenly on the sits bones. Lengthen the inner groins from the upper inner thighs out through the knees moving towards the front of the room, from the upper inner thighs also drawing back towards the lower abdomen. Allow the flesh of the inner thighs to descend. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips together. As you compact the hips together, do so in such a way that you don't end up gripping the inner thighs. So you have to find optimal as opposed to maximum. So if you squeeze as hard as you can, you'll begin to squeeze the inner legs. So can you find that place where those two experiences meet? The extending of the inner thighs, the inner groins, the contracting of the outer knees to the outer hips, and the compacting of the hips. And of course, observing the effects of these actions. How does that affect the abdominal area? Perhaps even the neck, shoulders, the breath, the mind. Keeping the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body, lengthen from your hips to your armpits, the whole torso lengthening. Noticing how that affects the torso itself, the breath, the mind. And then allow the shoulders and the elbows to draw down. You don't have to push them down, but allow gravity to take hold of them as they slowly release down more and more as time goes on. And keeping the elbows where they are, bring the palms together, thumbs at your chest. Close your eyelids from top to bottom. Draw your eyes back and down to gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. And again, checking in. What is present for you in this moment? And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. From the back of your head, gently let your eyes open. Straighten your legs. You can keep the lift if that is comfortable for you for Dandasana. If you prefer being on the floor, then go down to the floor. That's fine. Fingertips by your hips. Or if you're on the floor, then it'd be flat hands by your hips, right? And those with knee issues, do not press your knees down. So feet are together, heels together, toes point straight up at the ceiling. Little toe moves back towards you. Make sure that line that your legs make are going straight forward. You know, and what you see on the screen for me, depending on the angle of the camera, even if it's slightly off, I might look like I'm at a slight angle, but I'm looking down, making sure that line is straight forward. Take your shoulders over your hips so that you're not leaning back. Not leaning forward either, but there's more tendency to lean back slightly. And here too, find the even balance of your sits bones. Press the thigh bones down, not the knees. Knee people, not the knees. Press the thigh bones down and lengthen from the inner thighs through the inner knees, through the inner heels. And from the upper inner thighs, draw back towards the lower abdomen. So that groin lengthens in both directions, like you're stretching an elastic. The flesh of the inner thighs descends and draw from your outer knees to your outer hips, compact the hips together. And again, as you compact the hips together, as you draw the outer knees to the outer hips, can you do so in such a way where you don't grip the inner thighs, but you have to use your brain differently, where you can lengthen the inner leg and contract the outer leg. We're teaching our brain how to work differently, not to go all in on something, grip everything, or completely let go. That we can do both at the same time. So that when you go into regular life, you can work hard, but do it with ease. It translates. What we do here, we want to do out there. Lift up through the side ribs. Release your shoulders down. Watch the shoulders, George. Ah, there we go. The more you bring your shoulder blades in to lift the chest, the more your shoulders will fall. But please, as you bring the shoulder blades in, don't puff the bottom ribs forward. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Separate your legs. Upavista Konasana. Toes up. So when your feet were together, it was easy to make sure your toes are up because they were touching each other. But now there's a tendency that the legs fall out. So you have to pay more attention and turn your thighs in. Point those toes up, point the kneecaps up. Fingertips can still be by your hips. Watch the shoulders, Olivia. Ah, there we go. Press the thigh bones down, not the knees, the thighs. It's a straight leg. I'm not saying bend the knees, but the actions from the thighs. And so, Kitty, you need to make sure you're not overdoing these actions, especially when we draw the outer knee to the outer hip. You don't want to go into your knee. So press the thighs down, that lengthening. Lengthen from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner heel, but also from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs descends and draw the outer knees to the outer hips. And depending, where we are in our life or our body is, either we just want to stretch, so we just focus on the stretching, or we want to strengthen, so we just focus on the strengthening. But I'm asking you to focus on both at the same time. The front bottom ribs move towards the back body. Yeah, so on the floor, you need to work that part more now, Olivia, because that's what gives out. Yeah, I get it. Because that will, if this isn't doing the work, this will do the work. Lift up through the side ribs, front bottom ribs towards the back body, shoulder blades lifting the chest so that you can release the shoulders. Right, we tend to sink the chest and lift the shoulders. This is how we go about life. And I'm asking you to lift the chest to release the shoulders. Take your hands on the inside of your knees, pull straight up. Allow the feet to come together, Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So wide legs are Upavista Konasana. This is bound because your thigh and your calf are bound together. And you can either have fingertips by your hips. If you prefer, not if you're on a lift, but if you're on the floor, you can take your hands underneath your feet, and that's fine. But if your hands are underneath your feet, remember to push your feet into your hands into the floor. Don't pull your hands up into your feet, but you're moving your feet into your hands. Press the heels together. Lengthen from the inner thighs through the inner knees. Lengthen from the upper inner thighs back towards the lower abdomen. So that whole area from the lower abdomen to the inner knee is lengthening. When I understood that the groin did not end at the top of the thigh, but connected all the way to the lower abdomen, and we needed to extend that whole area, my whole yoga practice changed. Release the flesh of the inner thighs down, draw the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And again, doing so in such a way where you're finding both the lengthening of the inner leg and the contracting of the outer leg. That one is not taking over the other, that you're not only stretching, that you're not only gripping. Lift the side ribs, keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Shoulder blades in to lift the chest. You might be happier, Barbara, on a lift for this one. Maybe your choice. Freedom of choice. It's your body, not mine. So I say that lovingly, right? It's freedom of choice. And sometimes we can check it out. Try it. Every day is different. Some days I'm on a higher lift. Right, Sharon, when Lori Blakeney did the workshop, was it last weekend? Last weekend or the weekend before? I can't keep track really. I just had a bunch of blankets when we sat at the beginning of class. That's what I needed. Notice that the mind wanders, right? I keep you the mind wanders. Can you keep the mind in the body? Or as soon as you notice that it wanders, come back. It's natural for it to wander. Bottoms of the feet are together. Take your hands on the outside of the knees. Push your legs up. Hold behind one leg. There are two strands there. Take one in each hand. Draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag the heel. Other leg, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag the heel. Fingertips by your hips. Dandasana. Lift up through the side ribs. Release the shoulders down. The arms can also help release the shoulder down. So rotate the upper arms out. Actually, everyone, take your fingers, flat hands or fingertips, wherever you are, and turn the fingers to face the back. And notice how that rotates the upper arms out, right? And then there's more space in the chest, right? Now keep the upper arms turned out. So you have to do this slowly and rotate the forearm in so the fingers are forward. Do it again. Turn the fingers to face the back. Really rotate the upper arms out. I get that they'll come in a little bit, but don't just turn the arm in. Keep the upper arm turned out as you rotate the forearm and take the fingers forward. And that gives a different experience on the chest, the armpit chest, even the neck shoulder area. And then release. Come up onto your hands and knees. We're setting up for downward facing dog. If you do downward facing dog on blocks or a chair, right, Kitty? Now you and I were working on it with a chair, so you can try it this way, but if you want to take the chair, that's fine. Otherwise, if you're on the floor, shoulders over your hips, shoulders over your wrists, excuse me. I'll learn English one day. I keep threatening to do that. Knees slightly behind your hips. Press down through the ball of your first finger and thumb. So the arms are the same as what we just did in Dandasana, where the upper arms rotate out, but often we exaggerate that in this pose. So yes, rotate the upper arms out, but now at the same time, turn the forearms in and press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. And as you press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb, maintain that, rotate the upper arms out. So again, we need to use the brain differently where the whole arm isn't doing the same thing, but opposite things are happening. Press into the floor, lengthen through the inner arms, turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale as you lengthen through the inner arms. Exhale, come into downward facing dog. So that means thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. Now you have to take the awareness away from your knees. It is a straight leg, but come up onto your heel, onto the balls of the toes. Lift the heels, bend the knees slightly, and now really press the thighs back and lengthen from the tip of the first finger through your sit bones. Now listen first. When you go to straighten your legs, it should feel as if the thighs are moving faster than your knees. Thighs moving faster than your knees. I understand that technically that's not possible, but that's how it should feel. So now begin to straighten your legs. As you press your thighs back, the heels move back and down, and it should feel as if the thighs are moving faster than your knees. The sit bones stay high up. And you can do it again. Lift your heels, bend your legs. George, feet a little further apart. Just bend your legs a little bit, not too much, just a little bit of a bend. Lift those sit bones up high. Also, take your chest towards your thighs. Now, when you go to straighten your legs, lifting the hips, the heels move back and down. When you go to straighten your legs, move your thighs faster than your knees. Press the thighs back. Press the thighs back. So you're not pressing your knees back to straighten your legs. You are pressing the thighs back to straighten your legs. Outer heels down, outer hips up. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthen from the inner knees to the inner groins, tops of the inner groins. Let your head go. And look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows, Uttanasana, forward bend. Take your upper arms in line with your ears. Feet hip distance apart, or if you have tight hamstrings, just take your feet to the edge of the sticky mat. Totally fine. Make sure your toes are forward. Again, not the knees, but the thighs press back. And there's a lengthening of the inner legs, the lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. The hips moving towards the ceiling, the sits bones moving towards the ceiling. And the more you can lift your hips and sit bones, the more your torso falls over your thighs. Let your arms go. Take your hands on the floor or your chairs or your blocks. Walk your feet back. Again, bending your knees, lifting your heels high, then lifting the sit bones high, taking the sit bones back, maximum length between the tip of your first finger and your sit bones. Then to straighten your legs, you press your thighs back and you move your heels back and down. The thighs move faster than your knees. By doing that, yes, the knees become straight. If it's bothering your knees, then certainly keep a little bend in it. But you're not straightening your legs because you're pushing your knees back. You're straightening your legs because you're pressing the thighs back, taking the heels down. The heels really back and down. The further your heels go back, the further down they go. So focus on back versus down. And that will help give you more length in your spine as well if you focus on the heels going back. And if you're not sure, try it both ways. You do the experiments for yourself. Don't trust me. I've done it both ways. And I learned, I discovered. Svadhyaya, self-study. Lengthen the inner groins. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. And then look up, walk your feet forward. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did the first time. Hold your elbows the opposite way. Take your upper arms in line with your ears. Upper arms in line with your ears. If your legs aren't straight, take them wider apart. Take them to the edge of the sticky mat. Totally fine. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees up to the lower abdomen. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Let your torso fall over your thighs. On each exhalation, take your chest towards your big toes. Soft face, soft jaw. The abdomen is soft here. The abdomen is neutral. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Take your hands on your hips. Take your elbows towards the ceiling. Extend your chest forward. The thighs still do press back as you extend the chest forward. Slowly inhale, come up. And you can turn to face the front. Tadasana, feet together. If you prefer feet hip distance apart, that's fine. You can take your feet underneath your hip sockets. I'm going to move a little bit so I can see everybody. If your feet are hip distance apart, you have to be more careful as you look down and make sure your toes are pointing forward. If your feet are together, you double check that line between your feet is actually going straight. Balance evenly on the feet. Yeah, we could spend the whole class just on that instruction. It's fleeting. You get it for a moment and then it moves. And then you try and get it back and it moves. Press the thighs back. Lengthen from the inner knees to the inner groins. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. The flesh of the inner thigh is moving back. Again, we're not working the knees, but we're working the thighs, and we are working not maximum, we are working optimal. Keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Now extend through the arms. And that same arm work we were doing before. So you can rotate your whole arm out so your palms face towards the outside. Did you notice your front bottom ribs move towards the front of the room? If you didn't, it's okay. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Now take your front bottom ribs towards the back body. From your shoulders, move your shoulders down, extend through your arms and your fingertips. And now, keeping the upper arms turned out, rotate the forearm, rotate the wrist, so your palms face your hips again, fingers together, thumb alongside of your fingers. So it gives you a little bit more lift in the chest. Take your arms out to the side. From your armpits, rotate your arms up. Very end, turn your palms to face the ceiling. Oh, there go the front bottom ribs again. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. From your armpits, push your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Don't worry if the hands come together. George, rotate those triceps towards the nose. Everybody, rotate your triceps, the outer upper arms, rotate in towards your nose. So it's that same experience. Here, let's actually do the same thing. So rotate the upper arms out so your palms face the back. It's the same thing you're doing on the outside, right? It's the same action. And then keep the upper arms rotated and rotate the forearms so the palms face each other. Can you do it? Rotate again, the upper arms so that the palms face the back. Oh, there go those ribs. Watch the ribs. And then rotate the forearm so now that the palm faces forward, but the upper arm is still rotating out. The upper arm's not following. Yeah, we have those elbows that allows the upper arm and the forearm to do different things. Turn your hands out to the side. Exhale, come down. And for those that have neck shoulder issues, when you really learn that the upper arms can, or excuse me, the upper arm and forearm can work in different ways and go in different directions, it will, in my experience, do wonders for relieving some of the tension that we hold in our neck shoulder area. Interlace your fingers together, turn your palms out. So again, even here, watch the ribs. First of all, take the front bottom ribs towards the back body, but rotate the forearms in and extend through the ball of the first finger, the ball of the thumb, as if you're pressing onto a flat board here. But the upper arms then rotate out, draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. The elbows are straight or as straight as they can get today. And then maintain that inhale and come up. And it of course is a different experience with your fingers interlocked here in Banguliasana. But still, can you rotate those upper arms out, rotate the forearms in? So you're extending through the inner part of the wrist, the thumb side of the wrist, pushing that up. And in order to do that, the forearm has to rotate in. But at the same time, the upper arm rotating out. Release your arms up to the sides. Exhale, come down. Hardest part of the pose, interlace your fingers the opposite way. Whatever finger you had first. If I said it, then you had the right arm first. Sometimes I don't remember what I said. Let's switch it. Whatever you had, switch it. Rotate up. Front bottom is towards the back body. So again, extend through that thumb side of the wrist. That will rotate the wrist in and rotate the forearm in. Then rotate the upper arm out. And it's going to be subtle because if you really work hard to rotate it out, then the forearm's going to turn out. So you have to work much more subtly. Did I say that right? Subtly. Subtly. Why do they have a B in that word? Seriously. Doesn't make any sense. Inhale, come up. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Extend through that thumb side of the wrist. The forearm rotates in, the upper arm rotates out. Don't push where the fingers meet. Right? The hands are parallel to the wall. That's it, Barbara. That was good. Yeah, you can straighten those arms. Were you trying to trick me, making me think the arms didn't straighten? I see. Release your arms out to the sides. Come down. I know, right? All right, well, just because it all felt so good to me, one more for the shoulders. Take your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Cross your forearms. Put your palms together. Take your upper arms parallel to the floor. Forearms perpendicular to the floor. And now rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. But keep the palms connected. And then rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces. There we go. And as much as accessible today, right? George, this pose has totally changed for you. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Drop the shoulders down, but broaden across the top of the back. Move your shoulder blades away from each other. By the way, are you still balanced evenly on your feet? And watch those knees, Carla. Shin bones forward, thighs back. And release. Left elbow on top of right. Cross the forearms. Touch your palms. Upper arms parallel to the floor. Forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Did you switch sides, Barbara? That's the same side. You did? All right. Could be me. Hey. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. I promise you. Broaden across the upper back. Shoulders down, but broaden across the upper back. Move the shoulder blades away from each other. And release. Shoulders down. Extend through the arms. Balancing evenly on the feet. Getting the legs. Lengthening the inner groins. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Repeat the Trikonasana, triangle pose. Take your fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. Drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. And if you can stay there, Barbara, if you want, because nobody's there, you're welcome to move your mat a little if you would feel more comfortable. Because there's no one in that spot. So we got 6 feet. Cool. Drop the shoulders, extend the arms. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Make sure your front heel is in line with your back arch. Now, actually, turn the feet forward. You want your feet below your hands as your arms are extended. So it's not this one. It's this one. Right? So wide hands. Excuse me, wide feet. The hands are already wide. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. If your arms are getting tight, if I kept you a bit too long, you can take your hands on your hips. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen the inner knees to the inner groins. And if you are holding your arms up, don't do so with your shoulders and neck, please. Hold your arms up from your armpits. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out now. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Do not go into your knee to do that. The thigh goes back, but be safe with your knee and press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And then lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Now pressing into the back heel, inhale, exhale, and take your right hand down, left arm up. Again, don't worry about how far down you go, worry about how open your chest is. So your hand can go on your shin, on your thigh, too far down, Barbara, because you want to keep that open chest. You don't want to collapse. Just take your hand either on the upper shin or on the thigh, not on your knee, because then you might press down here. That's it. So press the back heel, rotate the upper arm out. Take the hand on the outside of your leg. Outside. Actually, take a block. Take a block. See that block next to you? Take the block next to you. Put it right on the outside of your calf. And take your hand on the block. High block. No, high one. High one. High one. There we go. Yeah, live a little. There we go. Because you want to open that chest up. Extend those arms away from each other. Lean back, Olivia. Your whole torso is coming towards me. Take the whole thing towards the back wall. Press into the back heel. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Drop your shoulders. Are you holding your arms up from your armpits or your shoulders? Hold them up from your armpits. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left leg out. It's easier with a wider stance. Make sure your front heel is in line with your back arch. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Yeah, take it on the outside of the leg. There you go. Turn the front thigh out. Lift your outer knees to your outer hips. Now press into the back heel. Inhale. Exhale, come down. That's it. So press into the outer rim of the back heel. Keep that front leg straight. Don't do it in the knee, right? So how do we straighten the front leg? We lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. And we do not jam the shin bone or the knee down. Lift both outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen the inner groins. Ah, that's it, Barbara. Good, good, good. Rotate the torso, extend those arms away from each other. The hands, fingers are a part of the pose. And then reach with that top arm, pull yourself up and up. Parallel your feet. You can jump or step your feet together. And Barbara, and I address you only because you're new to me. If I say anything that doesn't work for you, you just ignore me. One more time, Utthita Trikonasana, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Take the wide stance with your feet below your hands as your arms are extended. Drop the shoulders. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact those hips together. The tailbone does come forward. So there's this opening. As you take the back thigh back and turn the front thigh out, there's this opening in the pelvic area. Keep pressing that back heel. Inhale, exhale, take your right hand down. And everyone take your left hand on your hip. Everyone take your left hand on your hip. That's it. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift your outer knees to your outer hips. Now, without pushing your front bottom ribs forward, lean back. Imagine there's a wall behind you. So take your front bottom ribs towards the back body, and then imagine there's a wall behind you and lean onto that wall. Take both shoulder blades against the wall. So it's not that you're just leaning the top shoulder back. Both shoulder blades lean against your imaginary wall. Yeah, if you're at the wall, you can actually use the wall. The head goes back against the wall, but watch those front ribs, Joe. Watch those front ribs, everyone. That's it, Joe. Right? Do you feel the difference? And then extend the arm up. And imagine the back of the hand is now also against that wall. Extend those arms away from each other. And reach up, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. I'm in a good mood today. Take your hands on your hips, take a breath. And on the other side, extend the arms, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. So press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips together as you lengthen the inner groins. Now keep pressing the back heel. Exhale, come down. Keep that open chest. Everyone take your right hand on your hip. So press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift your outer knees to your outer hips. Again, the tailbone comes forward. That doesn't mean you throw the pubic bone forward. The pubic bone does not come forward, just the tailbone. And then keeping the front bottom ribs towards the back body. That's looking really good, George. Take your whole torso back, leaning against either your real wall or your imaginary wall. Both shoulder blades. Sometimes we overdo it, and we take that right shoulder back and even throw the left one forward. So no, I want both shoulder blades against your real or imaginary wall. That looks good, Joe. And then the back of your head against your real or imaginary wall. Good, Barbara. And then extend the right arm up. And remembering the arm is a part of the pose. The fingers are a part of the pose. Observe the pose. And then pressing into the back heel. Inhale, come up. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana, checking in with yourself. You're not between poses, you're in a pose. Balance evenly on your feet. Take the thighs back, lengthening the inner thighs, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, compacting the hips together. Everybody go get a block or two. Have one on either side of your mat. We'll set up for Utthita Konasana, extended side angle pose. George, you're going to use the chair, right? We use the chair for you with this pose, right? Remember how to use it? And have the blocks behind your feet, not in front of them, because when you separate your feet, I don't want you to kick them and trip. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step. So turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. Again, it's the wide leg, so feet below your hands, right? Now this time we bend the front leg. So press into the back heel, turn the front thigh out. Inhale, exhale, bend the front leg. A 90-degree angle. Do not let that knee go past your ankle. Don't let the knee go past the ankle. Take the chair, the block then, as you come down, take the block to the outside of your heel and place the hand there. So you can take your chair to the outside. That's it. Good, George. Bend that front leg. That's it. Then you extend the left arm up. Actually, everyone take your left hand on your hip for a moment. Okay, take your left hand on your hip for a moment. Press the thigh back. Take the right hip and tailbone forward and take the right knee back and get that opening in the pelvic area. And then remember that imaginary wall or maybe a real wall. Take both shoulder blades back and the head back. And then extend the arm up. Rotate it. Reach up with the arm and extend over your ear. And then press into that back heel, pull with your arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Don't forget to breathe during the pose. Don't wait till you're out. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Pressing into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knee to your outer hip. Pressing with the back heel. Inhale. Exhale, bend the leg. Inhale. Exhale, hand on the block. Right hand on your hip. Pressing into the back heel. Again, the front buttock, left buttock forward, left knee back. The tailbone also comes forward. So as that back thigh goes back and the front buttock goes forward, there's an opening in the pelvic area. And then lean back on that imaginary wall, head back. Also on that imaginary wall, both shoulder blades on your imaginary wall. Then extend the arm up, rotate the arm. Now your thumb is on the imaginary wall. Scrape the thumb down the wall as you extend the arm overhead. Observe your pose. Lengthening through the whole right side of your body. And reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. All right, so for my first 10 years of yoga, this was my most hated pose. True story. Now it's one of my I still don't love the pose, but it's one of my body's favorite poses. But here's the thing, when we come down, the final pose is on the floor, but we're using a block or a chair, and that's fine. But here's what happens when we come down, we tend to, because it's not the easiest of poses, even though, it's in the beginner sequences. It's a hard pose and it's exhausting. So we just fall into this block here. We put all our weight onto the block, which then cramps the shoulders and then collapse the chest. Now we're leaning against our imaginary wall, so that opens out a little bit. But here, I want you not to fall into the hand. In fact, you can use fingertips, that's fine, but sometimes we fall into our fingertips too, and then that hurts. Fingertips or hand, and this is the same if you're on the floor, you push in so that you lift off. Do you see the difference there? This is me falling onto the block. This is me pushing into the block to lift myself off of it. Right? Remember how in downward facing dog, we pushed into the floor to lift up? Did you guys all feel that when we did it? Same thing. So push into your block to lift up. And if you're doing fingertips, because it gives you a little bit more height, it's nice. It's hard, you don't really push into the fingertips, but it should be very light. So you're not falling down. Your fingertips should not turn white in this pose. So it's your choice, flat hand or fingertips. If you're using a flat hand, you push down to lift yourself up. And if you're using fingertips, very, very, very light. As if I should be able to come by and slide a really thin sheet of paper between your fingers and the block. All right? Make sense? Questions? All right. Let's get back to it. From Tadasana, fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step. Drop the shoulders as you extend your arms. So left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Now get the legs, don't ignore the legs. Thigh back, press the heel. Front thigh out, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg, knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Inhale, exhale, hand on the block. Move the block next to your heel. Take your left hand onto your hip. So I know I spoke about what we're doing with the arm to affect the torso, but I want you to get the legs first. So back thigh back, front buttock forward, front knee back. Take the tailbone forward, open that pelvic area, and lean against your imaginary wall with both of your shoulders and shoulder blades. Head two. Now, if you're on your fingertips, that's fine. Very, very lightly, and rotate the torso. If you're on your flat hand, push it to the floor. The block is the floor. Floor and block mean the same thing here. Block is the floor raised. Push into the floor of the block and help rotate the torso even more. Watch the front ribs, front bottom ribs towards the back body. And allow that pushing of the hand to lift yourself up as you rotate the torso. And then extend your top arm up, rotate it, and extend over your ear without turning the torso towards the floor, but rotating your torso towards the ceiling. Tailbone forward, front buttock forward, extend through the whole left side of the body. Reach through that top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, hands on hips, take a breath. Right, so in standing poses, we obviously really focus on what the legs are doing. That's the base of the pose, the foundation of the pose, that is the most important. But at some point, we also have to go, well, how do the smaller actions, the arm's just hanging there, it's not doing much, but how do the actions of the arm, it is a part of the pose, how does that affect the pose overall? Extend the arms, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take the back thigh back, press into the back heel, turn the front thigh out, lift both outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg, knee over the ankle. Inhale, exhale, take your hand on the block. Block goes next to your heel or the chair, and the right hand is on your hip. Get the legs first, the foundation. Build the foundation first. Back thigh back, press the heel. Front buttock forward, front knee back. Tailbone forward, open the pelvic area. Lean back on your real or imaginary wall with your shoulders and your head. As you do, don't throw that back thigh forward. The back thigh still stays back even as you lean back on your imaginary wall, head on your imaginary wall. Now the hands, if your fingertips, that's okay, very light. But you'll be able to come around and slide a sheet of paper in there. And if you're on your flat hand, push in. Bend that front leg, George. Push into the floor to help rotate the torso more. Push in so that it becomes lighter. The more you push, the lighter the pose gets, the easier it gets. And then extend the arm up, rotate the arm, extend over your ear, finish the pose. The top arm is straight, extend through. And the top arm, the palm rotates down. So here, Olivia, this is just for Olivia. Take your arm up first. Take your thumb, just Olivia, take your thumb against the wall. There, and now slide the thumb against the wall. There you go. That's it. See if you can straighten the arm, Barbara. Even if you take it a little higher, take it away from your neck. There you go. Nice. Reach through the arm, pull yourself up and out. Slide against the wall. If you're against the wall, use that wall to slide up too. Very powerful. Parallel the feet. There you go. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in with yourself. Breathe. Imagine you're enjoying life. All right, let's take the chair. Take a chair. Let's see. How am I going to do this? All right. Take the chair to the right side of your mat. And if you want a chair You want to be able to put your forearm on the chair where you can slide your hand down the side. So if you have a yoga chair, then the back of the chair is facing forward. If you don't, then you might want to have your chair facing sideways, right? If you have a back at home, if you have a back of the chair you can't put your hand through, you want to actually, you need this back. Then you just take your hand flat here. But try and get your forearm, try and get a chair where you can take your forearm through the chair. But if you don't, we work with what we have, right? We're doing Ardha Chandrasana, balancing pose. Turn the chair around, Carla. Turn the chair around. My instructions are obviously horrible. Back of the chair facing forward. So if at home you didn't get it, back of the chair faces forward. Now you need your front here. I'm going to demo this first. So watch. So everyone knows what we're doing. You need your front foot to be about a foot away from the side of the chair. Here's the thing. If you're too close to the chair, we tend to do this. And then we go like that. And do you see how there's no space in my side here? So I need space there. So if I'm a little further back, now do you see this space here? In this leg, notice how I'm forward. So I have to take this thigh back. So my hip, I'm hoping, I can't really, it's hard to really tell, but it feels as if my hip is above my heel. Is my hip above my heel? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. So you don't want to be here and you don't want to be here. So try and get your hip above your heel. So you have your balance from your forearm. Right, your left hand is then at the top of the chair, and use that left hand to help rotate the torso, so that you're again leaning against some imaginary wall here, head back, and then you lift your back leg up. Right, so you'll get your foot down, forearm on the chair. You're leaning forward a little bit. This is bent here, and then as you lift front leg, the outer knee to the outer hip, the thigh goes back, and as you do that, the top leg lifts. Now that top leg tends to come forward, so use that top hand to rotate the torso, and then you take the leg slightly back. All right, let's try it. Falling is fun, right? So take that front foot about a foot away from the chair, lean forward. Here you do lean forward. Take your forearm on the chair and take the top hand to the back of the chair. That's gonna help you with back. Take that whole forearm down. Now wait, don't everybody rush up at once. Rotate the top thigh out. As you now, what was your question? Your right arm is on the chair. Right arm is on the chair. Yep, you got it. And then begin to strain that front leg, lifting the outer knee to the outer hip. The back leg will come up. Watch the knee, you knee people, right? So you want your hip above your heel. And then as you rotate the torso, lean back against that wall, take the top thigh back and up. I know it's Barbara's first class with me, Kitty's first class with me. In a class environment, switch legs, Barbara. Your pose is you're doing Pravrita Ardha Chandrasana, much harder. Maybe next week, we'll see. Hip back, Olivia. Hip back, not just the knee, the hip. There. Nice, Kitty. All right. Bend the front leg, take your back foot down, and take your feet together. Come on. How'd that go? Everybody okay? Everybody with me? All right, let's take the chair to the other side of the mat. Back of the chair faces the front. Back of the chair faces the front. Carla, turn the chair. Joe, turn the chair. And take it to the other side of your mat. I guess you could have done it the way you were doing it, actually. There you go. Very confused. Balancing poses. All right, so front foot about a foot away from the chair. Take your forearm down. Let your fingers drape across the back of the chair. Take your top hand onto the back of the chair. Switch legs, Barbara. Turn your front thigh out. You really want to go for the hard stuff right away. It's okay. You're in a judgment-free zone. Lift the outer knee to the outer hip, front leg, and that will end up lifting the back leg. Use the arms for support. The top hand then presses into the back of the chair so you can rotate the torso and lean on your imaginary wall. Lift the back leg up. Take the back thigh back slightly. Breathe. And then bend the leg, take the top foot down, and come up. All right, hands on the chair, downward facing dog. Both hands on the chair, walk your feet back, downward facing dog. You can use stairs at home if you want. Thighs back, lengthen the inner groins. Full hands on the chair. So don't, otherwise when you get the heel of the hand on the chair, you start pushing into the chair. I want you to push down into the chair equally as pushing away, down and away. And it does something weird to the shoulders when you have the bottom palm of your hand pushing into the chair like that. So you want the whole hand on the chair pressing down. Don't press the knees back, press the thighs back, tops of the thighs. Lengthen the inner groins. And then look up, walk your feet forward, take your hands on your hips, extend your chest forward, inhale, come up. All right, have the back of your chair facing the front of the room, have a seat in the chair with the right side of your body facing the back of the chair. If you need to adjust it so you can see me to make it easier, you can. Right side of the body. So turn your chair, because you can see me easily. Turn your chair so the back faces the back wall. There you go. And then we all will face the parking lot. Face the parking lot. I know. No, keep the chair was fine. No. Keep the chair the way it was. I know. I'm very confusing. You get used to it, Barbara. Oh, left side. Did I say right? Left side facing the wall. Oh, what are you going to do? Wait a minute. Okay, you're right. You caught me, Barbara. Turn the chair. I was wrong, George. Turn the chair. Thank you, everybody at home, for your patience. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Extend your arms out to the sides. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the sides of the chair. That's it. Elbows up, shoulders down. Shoulders down. Shoulders down are more important than elbows up. Elbows up can help take the shoulders down. So drop the shoulders. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Inhale, exhale. Pull with one hand, push with the other hand, flat hands to turn towards the back of the chair. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Soften your jaw. Relax your arms, Olivia. You're just using your hands to help turn, but you're not using all the strength of your arms. Okay, that's for everybody. Now drop the shoulders down. Take the left shoulder blade into the body as you turn to the right. Take the left shoulder blade into the body as you turn to the right. And exhale, come to center. Keep the chair where it is, turn around. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Now, as soon as those arms go up, those front bottom ribs thrust forward. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Inhale, exhale, take your arms out to the sides. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. So you're pushing with the left hand, pulling with the right. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Flat hands. And just using your hands to help guide you, not using all of your muscles to force anything. Take your shoulders down. Take your right shoulder blade into the body. Take your right shoulder blade into the body. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Turn around on the chair. Now there's a tendency, because the head controls everything, for the head to want to move first, and then the head drag the shoulders with it, and then we move from the shoulders. I want you to move from the base of the spine. So you're going to start off on your tailbone and move up one vertebrae at a time. The head's going to be the very last thing to turn. Arms forward, arms up. This is to create length. The length of your spine and twists are more important than the turn itself. So it's not how much do you turn, it's how much do you lift. Inhale, maintain the lift. Exhale, take your arms out to the sides, create some width. Inhale, exhale, then turn and take hold of the chair, but turn at the base of the spine. Elbows up, shoulders down. Now, in fact, turn your head the opposite way. So don't look straight ahead, okay? And the head is not going to turn. Inhale, lift up through the side ribs and spine. Exhale, starting at the base of the spine, turn up into your lower back, one vertebrae at a time. And then inhale, still looking straight ahead. Exhale, turning into the mid-back, moving one vertebrae at a time. Those bottom side ribs begin to wrap around. Inhale, lifting. Exhaling, turning one vertebrae at a time, moving into the upper back. And then inhaling, exhaling, turning one vertebrae at a time, move into the cervical spine. And when you get to the very tippity top of the spine, then you can turn your head to gaze over your right shoulder. It's the last thing to move. Keep wrapping the ribs around. Take your left shoulder blade in. Shoulders down. It's not about how far the head turns. It's about how far you can wrap those ribs around, how far the torso turns. The head will follow. Maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Turn around. So again, we're going to build from the base. Send your arms forward, arms up. Front bottom ribs towards the back body, right? Do you notice when you take the arms up, the ribs come forward? So keep those ribs in. Extend the spine. Keep the spine lifted and extended. On your exhalation, take your arms out to the side. Lifting up through the side ribs. Exhale, turn to face the side of the chair, but your head doesn't turn yet. So your head is still looking straight forward. Elbows up and shoulders down still. Starting at the base of the spine. Inhale, exhale, turning one vertebrae at a time, moving up into just the lower back. Then inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time, turning into the mid-back. The head isn't turning yet. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, then turning into the upper back, one vertebrae at a time. Again, the head isn't turning yet. Now we're going to go to the top of the spine. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time, now into the cervical spine. And when you get to the very tippity top, then you can turn your head gazing over your left shoulder. Shoulders down. And take your right shoulder blade into the body. So now you can turn your head, Carla. The very end. The head is the last thing to turn. And then maintain the lift. Inhale. Exhale, come to center. One more downward facing dog on the chair. Hands on the chair. Walk your feet back. Downward facing dog. Thighs back. Lengthen through the inner legs. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. So Kitty, without moving your knees back, just take your hips further back. Actually, take your feet. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Look up, walk your feet forward. Hands on your hips, extend your chest forward, and then inhale, come all the way up, Tadasana. All right, take the chair to the side, lie back on your mat. Bend your legs into your chest. Take your hands around your shins or behind your knees and give yourself a little hug. Use this time to say something kind to yourself. Offer some gratitude for yourself. The purpose of yoga is to still the fluctuations of the mind so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Can you take a moment now to recognize the true splendor inside of you and perhaps even bathe in it? And then take your hands on the face of your knees. On your inhalation, let your thighs move away from your torso, just 2-3 inches. Hands are still on your knees. Exhaling, drawing your thighs towards your torso. Inhaling, legs moving away. Exhale, legs drawing towards you. Inhaling, legs moving away. Exhaling, legs drawing towards you. So a few of these, pace of your breath. And then on your next inhalation, allow your feet to come to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let your legs fall out to the sides. Take your arms out to the sides comfortably. Find a comfortable place for them. And let go. Let go. Let your body surrender to the Mother Earth below you. Let your body surrender to the Mother Earth below you. The legs surrendering. The arms surrendering. The torso surrendering. Let the whole skull surrender. Allow your front brain to rest onto your back brain. And the brain itself becoming smaller, denser, moving away from the bones of your skull. Allow all of your facial features to release, to relax, to let go. When the mind wanders, gently with kindness and compassion, shift the aim of your awareness back to the breath. Just you and your breath. Nothing but the breath. Shavasana. Begin slowly coming out of your Shavasana. Take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your legs, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. Healing can be physical, healing can be emotional. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right side. If you prefer the left side, it's fine. You can roll to the left side. So pick a side that's comfortable. Take a few breaths here, observing as your awareness reawakens, your consciousness reawakens. When you feel ready, take your top hand on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor first, push to come up, chest first, head last. Come up to sitting. You can sit up on a lift if you'd like. Cross your legs the opposite way you did the first time or at the beginning of class. Bring your palms together. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up. Take a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? And let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Well, thank you, everybody.